Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is McCall and I'm sorry that I haven't been here as much lately. It's been a long time since I've uploaded, and today we're gonna talk a little bit about the gear that you see here on this table, as well as some of my absence and where I've been, what I've been thinking and whatnot. But before we get started into that, I would like to say thank you to each and every single one of you guys. We have just reached over 2,000 subscribers on this channel, and obviously it's not possible without each and every single one of you guys. So thank you so much, and as always, you know, I am here for you guys. So anytime you want to request a video or you want to ask any questions, just comment down below or shoot me a message and I will do my absolute best to get back with you all. So let's get started. So you guys are wondering why I have all this gear laid out here, and I promise it's not to boast or brag about my G Master lenses or my A7R III, which, well, it's irrelevant now that there's the Mark IV out. It's not to boast or brag about any of that. It's actually sort of kind of in line with why I regret purchasing maybe not all of this gear, but some of it. So this is gonna tie into some of my absence on YouTube. So let's go back to about the 2013-2014 time frame. I was working basically an $11 an hour job with a small commission check on the side for Summit Truck Group. I just was not making a lot of money, but I was smart about my money and I didn't spend it unwisely for the most part. And you know, G Master lenses and the Sony ecosystem wasn't well established at the time. That's why I had a Nikon DSLR and some of their, zoom and cheaper prime lenses and stuff like that. But I wasn't able to afford, the Nikon equivalent 16-35 2.8 or 70-200 2.8. I was nowhere near, wealthy enough to start buying that kind of lenses. That's why I had their really cheap kit lenses. And they're really cheap, like 1.8, plastic lenses with, screaming loud autofocus and stuff like that. Those are the good old days. So, you flash forward to about 2016, 2017. I finally, had a career established enough to where I was making a nice steady paycheck in the Air Force. And, on top of my deployment in Afghanistan, I had plenty of income to help supplement these purchases, as well as my little side job of photography and filmmaking and things of that nature. So I was able to afford the nicer glass, such as the G Master lineup. I was so hungry in going for that next lens and having the cutting edge camera and making sure that I had every selection of any Sony lens so that I could do pretty much any type of photo or video shoot. I was so wrapped up in having cutting edge technology that I lost my creativity. Guys, I promise, I truly believe that I was more creative and more passionate about my projects back in 2013 and 2014. I used to put my heart and soul into those projects, and even if you were to watch one of my old short films, Unmasked, it's a terrible film, it's cheesy and this and that. But you're talking about a 17, 18-year-old kid. That was my first large short film project, and look at how it turned out. If I would have continued that path of being creative, thinking outside the box, and doing what I could with what I was given, there's no telling where I'd be right now. But instead, I joined the Air Force, and like I said, I started getting a steadier paycheck, a larger paycheck, and I started justifying these purchases thinking that the next lens, the next camera, the next this, the next that is going to take my video and photo work to the next level. And I was so wrong. I mean, I was so wrong about the gear, and I'm still wrong about it. To be honest, guys, this is kind of tough to talk about because I'm sure a lot of you, subscribers are watching. You're like, well, I've been following your channel and buying the tech that you recommended, things like that. I, for the most part, appreciate all of these purchases, and they've all helped me in one way or another. What I'm trying to say is I didn't need all of this, though. Realistically and technically, for my line of work and, doing my travel films and things of that nature, a wide angle lens or zoom lens, is somewhat necessary. And then, probably a mid-range I could have done with the 50mm 1.8 instead of the 24 to 70 2.8 G Master, and instead of this honking 7200, I probably could have just stuck with my 90mm macro. And those 3 lenses alone would have really sufficed everything that I needed. And you're talking about $10,000, $15,000 of lenses that I bought and not really used to their full potential because I had it in my mind thinking that, oh, I just need the latest and greatest and that's what's gonna take my work to the next level. And I'm sounding like a broken record here, guys, but basically what I'm saying is I had it all wrong. Now, with all that being said, I use all of this gear. I'm not gonna say that I use them all equally, and to be honest, my GoPro, I've hardly ever touched this thing because I literally just got the Hero 7 Black because it came out like just 10 days after I got the Hero 6 Black, and I was like, oh, I want the 7, it's got better stabilization, and that's what I've been doing for so long. So, what are you getting at, Lane? What are you trying to tell me here? Well, what I'm trying to say is I just want to stop, or at least drastically slow down my purchasing on unnecessary gear. I want to get back to the basics and just do filmmaking and make these YouTube videos for the passion and for the love for it like I used to do years ago, and stop focusing so much on the techie gear side of it and just get out there and explore and have some fun. I feel like for these last couple of years, film and photography has felt like a job. You know, I get home from a 10, 11, sometimes 12-hour shift at work, you know, a really long shift, and then I plan out a photo shoot right after, and it's like the grind of doing it. I can't do that every day because I start losing my passion and I start losing sight as to what's important, and that's telling a good story and loving what you do. I'm not gonna stop making tech reviews, and I'm not gonna stop buying gear if there's something that breaks and I absolutely need it. I just want to become more wise with my purchases and not purchase an item unless it will make a noticeable improvement, or if I can make that money back. And I have to watch out because that's how I tricked myself into buying this gear in the first place. I'm like, well, I gotta, you know, this photo shoot or this video shoot lined up, and that's gonna pay back that lens, or that's gonna pay back that camera. And for the most part it did, but you know, let's just say $2,000-$3,000 that could have been spent on a trip, you know, somewhere else on another corner of the world that I haven't visited yet. I've been to, I think, 14, 15 countries at the time making this video, and that's a lot. That is a lot of traveling, but I could have been to so many more places if I would have saved my money and spend my money more wisely on my gear purchases. So don't think that you're gonna go to Lane McCall's YouTube channel here in a couple months and there's not gonna be anything tech related. I'm still a nerd. I love techie stuff and I love reviewing gear that I use and trust. I still use and trust all these items. I just don't feel like I was wise in purchasing all this gear at the time that I did. So I really hope that some of you guys can relate to that. So on to kind of like the second and last part of this video. I've been a little turned off to YouTube lately because it seems like everywhere you look, it's like, 5 reasons why you should buy the DJI Mavic 2 Pro, and 5 reasons why the DJI Mavic 2 Pro suck, and 5 reasons why we don't have, everywhere you look, you see everyone's 2 cents out there, and I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad because, of course, even I kind of do it on YouTube because if I want to get views, I gotta come up with something catchy, something that you guys are gonna want to click on and actually watch and enjoy. That's the important part. But I can't just help but think that a lot of these people are a little less than honest. So recently I met an Instagram influencer, and if you think about it, that's not too different from being a YouTuber, and he is sponsored by a company. He's fairly upfront about that. But he always says in his videos, and he has a YouTube channel, but his main platform is Instagram, but he says that he's not paid by this company to say anything nice or whatever about their products, but when I talked to him, he said that he is, and he told me he's paid a pretty good amount just to showcase what camera brand he's using. And I sat there and I was like, that's kind of unlawful. I think that's illegal too, but whatever. I didn't really think too much into it until that night, and I was like, everything I got here is Sony. I like Sony. I really like what Sony's doing, and for the most part, I like 99% of what Sony does, I back them on because they really helped shape the filmmaking world, because we were stuck in 1080p 30 frames per second for so long. You see, back at the tail end of 2017, beginning of 2018, I was actually sent a letter from Sony Europe asking if I would become an alpha ambassador for their ecosystem. And of course I said yeah. They sent me the shirt, they sent me the hat and everything. And I sat there and I made a YouTube video on it, and I'll even show a couple clips here. But I never published it because I didn't want this channel to be tied to one brand and to show loyalty to only one brand, because that's kind of skewed. It doesn't matter what camera or lens you use. It just matters if you can tell a good story. And if these tools do help you tell that story better, then go for it. Absolutely go for it. Get the 4K, get the 8K or whatever. But don't just buy into a brand because some other guy you saw did. And I'm actually relieved to say that I didn't actively pursue that. And that's why after this year, when they reached out again and, we kind of did a summary of what I did over the year and stuff like that, I didn't really do a whole lot. And I was like, you know what, I really appreciate the opportunity, but I wasn't really that interested. And not only that, but the Sony Alpha Ambassador, there's like different levels you can be at, and I was at a low tier. So if I wanted to go to events, I'd have to pay my ticket, but they would reserve a seat. It just wasn't really worth my time. And I was like, no thanks, guys. I feel like I've been talking forever and just like unleashing my guts on you guys, but this is why I've been absent from YouTube for so long. I've been out there, I don't want to say I've been out there like finding myself, searching and never, I took a break. That's really all it was. I took a break. And also I'm here in Germany where there's no air conditioning and it is like so hot, and I just can't do these videos without just like dripping in sweat. So, unless I did them at like midnight or whatever. So that's, that's another reason, for me to make me justify and feel better about not uploading. But I really wanted to put this video out there. I doubt it'll get too many views, but at least you all know that I'm keeping it real with you. I'm keeping it 100, and I'm always going to be honest with you guys. So I'm going to summarize this video by saying, even if there's just one person, and I literally mean even just one person that took a piece from this video and applied it to their life before they made all the mistakes that I made in my 11 years of film and photography career, I will sleep easy at night and I will feel better about myself. So honestly, guys, just think about it. Just think very hard before you buy that next camera lens, and don't just justify it in your head saying that you need it for this client or whatever. Think about if it's honestly going to turn you into a better filmmaker or photographer, or if it's actually going to take your project to that next level. That's it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Have a good night, everybody.